Good morning, New Life. Yes, yes, you are less frightening than the first service was in their response to that. My name is Eugene Byun, and I am a proud member of the North India House Church, shepherded by June and Tina Park. And my wife and I lead the adoption ministry under our children's pastor, Pastor Mia. And indeed, there on the screen there, Dr. Love. That is our adopted son, Jonathan, from South Korea, that Pastor Eric had mentioned earlier. This month is indeed NAM, National Adoption Awareness Month, and we wanted to take this opportunity to make you aware of a few things. First of all, some data. Latest stats from the Christian Alliance for Orphans. In the United States alone, as of the end of fiscal year 2024, there are over 320,000 children that are in the child welfare system today. When we talk about globally, experts estimate, and it's hard because the countries have different ways of counting, but it's estimated that between 3 to 9 million children currently live in a child welfare system. And interesting about both of those statistics, not a whole lot has changed in terms of those numbers. They go up and down kind of throughout the years, but generally sort of maintaining the same trend. However, U.S. adoption rates, both domestically and even more so internationally, are declining, and that trend is certainly being noticed. So that's why we have the New Life Adoption Ministry. And it really contains two major components. The first component is our annual adoption seminar, and that's for anyone who's interested in adopting or expanding their family through adoption, or becoming a supporter of those who adopt, or also maybe helping kids that are going through the foster care system. Our next adoption seminar will be on Saturday, February 21st. You can register in the church app starting today. The second element of our adoption ministry is our adoption fund, where members of our church can apply to receive a grant to help cover adoption costs, which are unfortunately rising, and that may be one of the causes why we're seeing fewer adoptions happening each year. There's the link there on the slide where members can apply. And you can contribute today, actually, via the church app using the category adoption offering to be able to contribute to that particular fund. Get that. There we go. Okay. Oh, no, not yet. So, consistent with what we're seeing nationally, we have had only one family at New Life, a very important family though, apply for and receive a grant for our adoption fund since it was first established in 2023. That would be Tang and Pam Nguyen in adopting their precious son, Jonathan, I love that name, in September of last year. Pam is going to come up on stage in a little bit here to give us an update on their journey as a family. And I just ask that you please listen with an open heart towards God, knowing that right after James chapter 1, verse 22, which says, do not merely listen to the word, do as it says, which was from Pastor DL's last message last Sunday at the retreat. Not long after that is James chapter 1, verse 27. Religion that God accepts as pure and faultless is this, to look after orphans. And I believe that some of you have been sensing that God has been inviting you to experience Him through the miracle of adoption, since He Himself is the God of adoption, having adopted us into His family and calling us His sons and daughters. With that, please welcome to the stage Pam.
Good morning, New Life. My name is Pam Nguyen, and I am a part of the Wuhan House Church, shepherded by our faithful Min and Jennifer Kim. Unfortunately, my husband Tang is working today and cannot be here with me to share about God's faithfulness and how Jonathan has been such a blessing in our lives in his short 14 months of age. Oh yeah, this time last year, Tang and I were up here sharing about how God had been calling us for years to adopt, and then finally, he challenged us to take Jonathan home with only a few hours' notice. I am here today to share some updates and photos over the past year. This was Jonathan on that faithful Sunday on the left in September of 2024 when we got a call about him. And then only 3 hours later, we took him home with us. He was just 3 days old. And then on the right, this is our family now of 4. Amazingly, Jonathan is Honduran, but we've had so many unrelated people tell us how much Jonathan looks like Tang, who is Vietnamese. A lot. God is so amazing. I'd like to share a little bit about the process that we went through for those who may be curious. It may surprise some of you to know that Jonathan was not legally our son when we took him home that day. There was a mandatory 6-month waiting period during which we had to do an in-person visit with the adoption agency once a month and also send in 2 letters each month detailing Jonathan's well-being and development. One letter was to the agency and the other letter was to the birth mom in the event that she would like an update. Then, finally, 8 months later, in May of this year, we met with a judge to finalize our adoption that would give us legal rights to be his parents, and he would officially become Jonathan Nguyen. That's why we were all dressed up. Thankfully, it was a virtual court through Zoom, and it only took 5 minutes. But getting the court documents, his birth certificate, and social security card would take another 6 months. But besides the waiting, our journey through the process had been fairly uncomplicated, which is such a blessing. You may also be surprised and amazed to know that Jonathan's birth mom did not know that she was pregnant until the day she delivered him, which meant she had no prenatal care, and she also worked in construction, so she was exposed to harsh temperatures and conditions. But Jonathan has been amazingly strong and healthy, meeting all of his developmental milestones. God, again, is so good. Jonathan is now 14 months old, loves to eat, and loves to wrestle and run after his An Hai, which means big brother in Vietnamese. Prior to adopting, one of my biggest worries was how Levi, our oldest son, would adjust to his new sibling, and even more so an adopted sibling. But Levi never once questioned why Jonathan came to be part of our family or even showed jealousy. But instead, Levi has been so loving and patient with Jonathan and even sharing his beloved stuffed animals with him. It also has been such a blessing for me as a mom to see how Levi enjoys having a sibling to play with after being an only child for 8 years. Praise God for this answered prayer. Another answered prayer is about my mom, who can be very critical and very disapproving. I wasn't sure how she would embrace Jonathan, but these photos say it all. On the left there was the very first time she met Jonathan. God is so good. In fact, both of our large family welcomed him without hesitation and just adore him. Jonathan has been woven into our family so seamlessly, and he has not had any problems adjusting to us. We've even had some family members who are all non-believers come to Sunday service for Jonathan's baby dedication. And of course, we've had such overwhelming support from our church and our house church family. I think more people at church know Jonathan than they know me. I'm just known as Jonathan's mom. So we'd like to especially thank our house church for their support and the countless prayers for Jonathan through his crucial first year. I hope this was helpful for those who may have or may be considering adoption. Please don't hesitate to come and talk to us if you have more questions about our journey. If God is leading you to it, God will surely lead you through it, just like He did for us. Thank you.